Hey everyone, my name is Dante and welcome back to Story Hub, your hub for the best stories on Reddit. I'm a 28-year-old woman and when I was a kid, my parents always hosted the family Christmas Eve party. This year, my dad was recovering from a surgery, so I offered to host at my new house, which I share with my girlfriend. When I was planning the party, I at first didn't really know what to do about my Aunt Marie. She's always been pretty homophobic. She'd always be talking shit about the gays when I was a kid before she knew. When I came out in my 20s, she became really frosty to me and basically stopped talking to me. So when I was planning the Christmas party, there was no way I was excluding my girlfriend who's estranged from her own family, or putting her in a situation where she has to face more bigotry. I also didn't really want to have my aunt over for my own sake, like I'm more used to it but it still makes stuff tense. And it was my own damn house, so I ended up inviting all the family except my aunt. My dad angrily confronted me about it, and I basically told him that I know he never allows someone who disrespects him or his wife into his home. Now I'm not a kid anymore. I'm as old as he was when he became a parent. I own my own home, and I'm going to be handling my household the way he raised me to, with respect for myself and my partner. He actually apologized for putting me in an uncomfortable spot when I was young. He planned a Christmas Day dinner with her and their other siblings. The Christmas Eve party itself was lovely. Well, on Christmas Day, my aunt posted this lengthy rant about how young people are canceling Christmas, and about her woke niece. It was super long and super out of touch, like there's no big conspiracy to cancel family or whatever. I just personally didn't want her there. I replied, I assume this is about me not inviting you to the Christmas Eve party. Honestly, the holidays weren't canceled. I just didn't invite you personally, as you have expressed hateful views towards me such as. I wrote a long bulleted list that is taking this way over the word limit here, but some of the stuff on it was stuff like being glad AIDS killed a lot of F-slur. I said anyway, since I'm a lesbian and I share my home with my girlfriend, I specifically uninvited you due to your behavior towards me in the past. Nobody's canceling the holidays, just you. It's not some new woke trend either. A host choosing to only invite guests who respect them and their household has existed for as long as parties have existed. Well, that blew the hell up. My family all started calling me and texting me and saying I went too far. It was enough to just not extend an invite, but it was too much for writing a massive list of like 20 years of grievances. Some of my family was even saying it was shitty of me to list homophobic stuff she said before she knew I was gay. Am I an idiot for the Facebook comment I made? Not the idiot. If she wants to post her dirty laundry on Facebook, she better be prepared when the laundry starts to smell. Family means nothing when the people in it are the ones hurting you. Good for you, Opus. Not an idiot. Your family seems to be doing a thing I think of as first speaker privilege. Your aunt faces no sanction for saying anything she wants, but you get called out for a response to it. What she said deserved a response. Maybe your family would have accepted a very short I've experienced homophobic hate from you and you're not welcome in my home. But I have a strong suspicion even that would have been too far. Not an idiot. She's been shooting bullets at you for 20 years and that's fine, but suddenly you post a bullet. Haha. Sorry, list of all she's done and now it's too far. Thanks very much for the low validation of me and your family priority list versus the hateful homophobe. Right. Freak the lot of them. You're doing amazing. You're standing up for yourself. You're standing up for your GF. You're refusing to give over space to people who demand it only to be hateful to you while demanding all the rest of your space as well. Now for the next story. I, male 53, have a daughter, female 17, who I recently bought this big storage container for. The reason being our daughter has a job and likes buying her own food and snacks for herself. The problem is that her mom invites her aunt, uncle and cousins over all the time, and even since she started buying her snacks and leaving them in the pantry, they'd eat them without consulting her. She's asked them many times to not eat them, but they don't listen. For reference, she likes to order snacks from other countries as a way to broaden her horizons. She's also linguistically gifted and likes to try and read labels to help expand her vocabulary. These snacks can take weeks to get after she orders them again, and by then her current snacks are gone. My wife didn't do anything, saying that since our daughter kept them in the pantry there for everyone, she moved them to her room and her cousins would go in when she wasn't and take them. I went to a hardware store and bought a big container with a lock, and for extra measure I bought extra locks and drilled holes so that they could be used. Our daughter cried and thanked me because it was pretty expensive and not something she could afford. Of course, the cousins went to get more snacks and threw a fit when they saw it and realized the snacks were in there. They told their parents and they told my wife, and she's not happy with me, saying that our daughter should share her snacks with family and she's being selfish and will get fat. Our daughter is incredibly fit, does multiple sports and exercises all the time. She's far from unhealthy. I told my wife she could order her own and our daughter was happy to tell her where to order them, but she didn't like that either and told her that the chest needs to go and that I should have consulted her on buying the bin in the first place. Am I an idiot? Not the idiot. Your wife is well out of line. How dare she take your daughter's things? Your daughter works for these treats. Your wife has no right to steal them, and has no right to advocate her other family members steal them. Also, the fat remark. Just, ugh. You did the right thing. Not the idiot. But I would take it a step further and get a deadbolt lock for her room to lock it when she isn't there. That way the cousins can't get into her room and we'll have something else to complain about. Not the idiot. Your wife sounds like a nightmare with no respect for others. The cousins sound like entitled whiners. They can buy their own snacks. If it is that important to them, congratulations on standing up for and showing respect for your daughter. Now for the last story. Context. I am female, 25. My parents have been divorced for 15 years. My dad has been married to his wife Laura for 10 years. Laura has two daughters, Katie, 26 female, and Sam, 22 female. My dad is very close to Katie and Sam and considers them to be daughters to him. The grandfather I am referring to is my dad's father. My grandfather has a diamond that belonged to my great-grandmother, and it's something of a family miracle, since my grandfather managed to find it after WWII. Unfortunately, he lost his mother and sister in the war, so he saved the diamond to be for the next woman in the family, to be set into an engagement ring. Now, my grandfather has a thing about blood and family. Namely, if you're not blood, you can be family. But you're not in the family. I am pretty sure this is somewhat related to his trauma, but it might be a generational thing. Because of this distinction, his sons were not allowed to use the diamond for their wives' rings because then the diamond would belong to the wife, and the wife is not blood. I am his only biological granddaughter, so it was always presumed that the diamond would go to me. I got engaged last year, and I didn't end up using the diamond for the ring. The diamond was not the color or cut of the style I wanted, and my grandfather knew that. He offered to have the diamond recut, but I begged him not to because it is very valuable and I know how much it means to him, and he agreed that when I get married he will set it into a necklace to be worn on my wedding day instead. Now, Katie is going to get engaged soon. My dad is likely to be asked to walk her down the aisle. Laura asked that my grandfather give her the diamond for her ring, since she is basically my father's daughter. My grandfather said, and I quote, "Not even over my dead body, and that the diamond will stay in the family." That said, Laura, my dad, and Katie are now extremely upset. My dad suggested maybe I could ask my grandfather to let them use the diamond, since I hadn't used it for a ring anyway, and that he considers Katie part of his family and will be forever, so it should be okay for her to have it, especially since she is older, so the first woman as it were. My grandfather would probably relent if I asked him, but I said no because I would feel too guilty. That diamond is all my grandfather has left of a family he lost in the most horrific circumstances when he was 9 years old. They don't even have graves. That stone is literally all he has to remember them. What right do any of us have to dictate what he does with it? Katie, Laura, and my dad have all been texting and calling about how hurt they are that I am letting my grandfather exclude Katie from the family, and that I already have a ring. Why can't I just help my grandfather soften and let Laura and her kids be part of the family? I'm holding firm on it for now, but should I be? Not an idiot, and I love you for this. That diamond is all my grandfather has left of a family he lost in the most horrific circumstances when he was 9 years old. They don't even have graves. That stone is literally all he has to remember them. What right do any of us have to dictate what he does with it? Not an idiot. As much as they may be upset, it's not theirs. Your grandfather wants it to go to someone genetically related to him, not to someone brought into the family by marriage. His reasoning is exactly the same reason he didn't give it to the women marrying into the family. Grandpa has a right to say no. Your dad and stepsisters will just have to get over it. Not the idiot your grandfather has decided, and any outside pressure cheapens the gift's intent. Also, the idea that a necklace could become a new family legacy is something that, I assume, would make your grandfather's heart full.